So today is Tuesday, the 28th of July, 2026, and I'm going to go over today's trading day. So today I had a little bit of a mixed barrel, basically, because I took a trade and got a payout, and then ended up taking a trade on an eval and losing one R basically. So I'm minus one R on the eval. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the exact trades that I took today, and then I missed out on a trade potentially as well out of session, which is still running. I wouldn't take it, but it's good to journal it anyway. And I'll show you why I would have came back to the screen, etc., etc. So this is what we was looking like when I woke up to start trading. Okay, it was about over here somewhere. Price is down here. I just waited for the level to actually be tagged in, and as you'll see, that does actually happen quite a way into London. I believe it's around about 4 a.m. Okay, it comes up there, fakes it, and then around about here, where we start making this push back to the upside here, is where we start to get a bit of momentum to the upside, and I expected price to go long. Okay, so again, we're bullish. We're bullish throughout the start of London. We have this little pullback, and then a really extreme bullish leg. Okay, which gives me confidence that we're going to go to the upside. Now, as you can see off these two candles here, okay, the idea obviously to try and get an A plus would have been that this candle here would have continued up and left a fair value gap around about there, okay, which I then would have put my stops around about here, and I would have targeted the 1.5, and this would have been an A plus setup, okay. As you're going to see, that it doesn't quite play out like that, but nonetheless, it's still a good setup, okay. So you could take this gap here. Okay, it's below the level. I wouldn't personally do it. I have done it previously on evals or on accounts that I'm not close to payouts on, things like that. But it's not really something I do, just in case we do bounce off the level. Now, the level isn't exactly a diagonal, a horizontal line. Okay, it's a zone. It's an area. You're more likely to think of these levels like this. Okay, they're more like that. So it's not like it's always going to bounce directly on the line, but this area is where we're looking to, continue price to push off. So what happens is price tagged here, and then whilst I was talking to another guy that I trade with, um, I wanted price to break above this level, and then I would enter. Okay, so that's exactly what I was aiming to do. But as you'll see, price comes up, okay, and dumps down aggressively. So at this point, I started to wonder if I was actually going to get the trade that I wanted. Okay. And then we finally get this close up here. Okay. So we've now put in a new swing point. So my idea now was to get in on the next fair value gap, which you'll see prints down here. Now it's very, very small, but it's still a fair value gap nonetheless. Okay. So this is the trade idea that I wanted. Originally, it isn't exactly played out how I expected it to, obviously, expecting price to bounce, have a fair value gap here and bounce up continuously off that. But now what we've done is we've had this push through. It's failed to go lower, respected these FEGs and this order block, gone through this inversion here, and now left a tiny fair value gap. Okay, there is a fair value gap there, as you can see once I pull price in a little bit more. Okay, so now all I'm really looking at this point is this little leg of price action. Okay, so if I'm right, obviously I don't want price to come down this far. Ideally, I probably should have had my stops here, to be honest, but I didn't really see that in the moment. So this is the exact trade I took, and you're going to see that's how it played out. Okay, so nice and easy. It did respect that fair value gap after digging into the level. Again, like I tried to just explain, I will always try and give these levels. So like this, I'll try and give it like a gap like that, something along them lines. Maybe 10 points to the upside, 10 points to the downside, or maybe 5, maybe 10's a little bit too much. Probably something like that. Okay, so it'll be like 5 points either side. That's sort of what we're trading. Okay, so that area overlapped with a fair value gap and an inversion, just made me very confident that this trade was going to play out. And as you can see, it did play out for the 1.5 very easily. Okay, so that's trade one. And then the day just sort of went a little bit skew with from there, to be honest. Price obviously plays out. I was going to look to take a short that I didn't end up taking because it didn't play out at the end of London. I wanted the short here to get in and hold throughout the like the session gap where I used the kill zones, so from London to New York. I didn't end up taking anything, but there was a trade that I would have taken if I was on the charts, and you'll see that. Where is it? Oh no, I missed it. There was a trade that I would have took if this played out, but to be honest, I ain't even going to bother showing it because I don't want to put things into people's heads. When it's out of session, I don't have the data on it, hence why I don't trade it. Okay, so coming into New York, again, just to clarify, I want to make this video as in depth and as raw as I possibly can. That's why I'm trying to explain things off the cuff, okay? Because this is exactly how I was feeling and thinking in the moment. Okay, so coming into New York, we knew previously that this level held for the bulls, yeah, for the buys. Okay, so I wanted to see if we could get back above this level and go again for longs. Okay, so that was my aim going into the session. Price comes up. Okay, again at this point, just like we had in the London one, I now want to see this high broken to take a long. Okay, so that was my idea going into this section here. When that happens, now there's a fair value gap again, and that's exactly where I decided to go long. Okay, now this trade ended up running for a very long time. My stops were, I believe, around about there. No, sorry, I'm lying. My stops were down here, and my TP was up there. Okay, and this trade ended up running, drawing down very deep into the drawdown. Okay, at this point, I thought I was absolutely screwed, but price did end up coming back up. Now, on one of my live accounts, when we have this wick up here, I ended up securing one of my 150 plus days, which then has taken me over the profitable days to get a payout. So I secured a payout on one account. Okay, and then this trade ended up losing. I left the runner on another live account and an eval. Okay, so this ended up losing. As you will see, it plays around for a long time, and then we have the New York Open, which absolutely rips price to the downside, which you will see here. Okay, price dumps off heavily, literally from open. Okay, so it wicks up on open. I thought maybe we was just going to be some sort of liquidity sweep here, and I was going to potentially try to get another long off this level again. Okay, and that didn't happen. So we took a loss on one live and one eval, and one other live we took a 150 plus profit day, so which secured a payout. So I now have the 5 days secured, and I will do a video on how to request payouts through Lucid. It's very easy, to be honest, and very clean. So I'll try and get that up for you when I do it. So at this point, I was sort of done for the day, anyways. There wasn't really much for me to look at, and coming out of 10 a.m. and we've had this massive move down, I wasn't really looking to take anything, but I did have my alerts on, and this is the trade that I believe it is still running. It was running before I started this video. Okay, so over here, my alert went off. Now, it's sort of come into the out of session time, so it's not something I would probably normally take, if that makes sense, but I was looking for the exact same idea here, as you see with this fair value gap, to go long off. Okay, now I was speaking to my mate Jake about this exact situation and what I did wrong, and I want to explain in the video so he knows, and so I can also refer back to this when it comes round and see why I didn't end up hitting TP on this trade. So originally, if I just pull this back one more, okay, or a few candles, right? Okay, so originally when I came onto the charts here, once my alert went off, I wanted obviously a fair value gap where this candle printed and we came back in. So around about the level it's at now. Okay, so it wouldn't be an A plus. It would just be about an A because that's kind of a swing point, but it's a little bit not like it's not really perfect. You know what I mean? It's not got that perfect swing. Like say this candle here has got the swing point. This one here has got a swing point out of FVG. That would make it an A plus. This is sort of relative equal lows, kind of below the fair value gap. So it's fine. It's an A trade. Okay, so this is what I was trying to look for at this point in time. And what you're going to see what happens is, and this is why you need to be fully locked in when you trade, okay? Price comes back down, and at this moment in time, I'm too busy trying to set up my charts again, like set up the trade C login so that I can actually take the execution, that I ended up missing this PA here, okay? So then when price comes back above and my alert tags off above this level, I wanted to enter here, okay? So this is still, okay, this is perfect if you took the trade over here. But what I should have done, and you're going to see exactly why, so I'll leave that one there. What I should have done if I was being more locked in is I would have took the execution here, okay? And I would have had my stop loss right there. Now, that is a swing point, and I think on the MNQ chart, it was a lot more clear as well on the swing. So this would have been the trade. And to be honest, this was an absolute banger of a trade because it tagged in and just ripped to the upside. Look, so there you go. You would have had another banging A plus, well, A trade, A plus A trade, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I'll probably just tag that as an A. But it literally respected the fair value gap and the order block and just absolutely pinged off the level. Now, that's why I would have taken if I was fully locked in, fully on the screen, and not sort of half-heartedly walked away when that big bearish trade, well, big bearish move happened. Okay, so if I've stayed locked in, I would have seen all this move up and I would have been prepared on my trade seat and I would have been executing properly, okay, with my stops here, but I didn't. So that's the trade I should have took, and this is the trade I ended up taking. And as you're going to see, I believe it's still running at this point. We nearly get TP, it doesn't. It comes down, it still doesn't. And then now, this is current live price. As you can see, it did hit TP and it's dumped off again. Okay, so it's one of them. It's been one of them weird days where I've made money, I've secured a payout, but it's just felt like, I don't know, it's just not felt great, if that makes sense. But yeah, everything's raw and everything's live. When I trade live, this is exactly what happens. This is what I'm going through as I'm doing it. Yes, these videos obviously come out after the PAs happen, but I am normally trading live with the people in my group. And these things happen, I guess. It's still not a bad day. At the end of the day, we've still made money. At the end of the day, the whole point in trading is to make money. So it's obviously good when you do that. But at the same time, when you're hitting trades like this, where you should be hitting TP, and you're like pulling out the trade, of course, I don't really have any data when you come past this New York kill zone, the New York AM kill zone. So I was saying to my mate Jake as well when we was up here, if we don't hit TP now, I'm gonna trail the stop. It's very silly to leave your TP. When I was up here at the end of the New York AM session, I'm how many points away? Literally about 20 points, not even that, 15 points away from TP, or over 70 points back to the break-even stage going into the New York lunch hour. It's very silly to leave your capital on the board at that point. So I did go break-even. Obviously, you see why I don't go break-even on a normal trade. If this was in the kill zone times, I probably wouldn't have done that. But again, like I said, it's been one of them days. I've made money, and yeah, it's just unfortunate that probably should have made a lot more money today on multiple accounts. But again, we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow's only Wednesday, so we've still got time. We're going to request our payout today. We could still build up 2 or 3 more days worth of profitable trading days. And I think there's another account that's due a payout by the end of this week, hopefully, as well. So on to tomorrow, really. There's not really much else we can do about it. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, and give these videos a like, comment, share it, whatever you can do for me to help me boost my page. Everything's not taken for granted. I'm very grateful for everything that you do for me. And hopefully we can get some more views and start pushing some more content out.